Eleanor's legacy acknowledges our presence on the unceded land of the Lenape people. We acknowledge that this event is centered on the unceded land of the Mohawk, Haudenosaunee, and Mohican people. We honor that the suffrage movement in America was heavily influenced by Iroquois women of what we now call upstate New York. This event will have closed captioning and audio descriptions. Please welcome a founding member of our board, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand.
Hi, I'm Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, and it's my honor to welcome you to this celebration honoring two phenomenal Capital Region women who are making a huge positive impact on our community. I'm so happy to participate today with my friend Tish James, New York's incredible Attorney General. And I also want to thank all of the other guests and performers joining us in honoring Heidi Knoblauch and Anzala Alozie. Heidi and Anzala, both of you are incredible change makers who show us every single day what it means to invest in our community by lifting up others. As someone who calls the Capital Region home, I'm particularly grateful for your dedication and your commitment. The Capital Region is great precisely because of women like you who use your talents to empower other women. I also want to give a very big shout out to Eleanor's legacy for all the work you do getting pro-choice Democratic women elected to offices in New York State. The pandemic has been especially hard on women whose work and time was already undervalued and left working mothers struggling to get resources they need to care for their children. The best way we can help women is by ensuring their voices are heard in the halls of government, advocating for our interests and crafting the policies we need to help women and families thrive. Congratulations once again to Heidi and Anzala, and good luck to all of the Democratic women on the campaign trail this year. Thank you and God bless.
Please join us for a performance by Lisa Ramey.
Played on The Voice, but whenever I did it on The Voice, they only let you sing at this point of the competition. I only got 2 minutes. So today I'm going to bring you the full song of The Wait, Aretha Franklin's cover of the band. I pulled into Nazareth, I was feeling about 10:30. I just need a place where I can lay my head. Hey, mister, can you tell me where a girl might find a bed? He grinned and shook my hand, no was all he said. Sinking low, and I believe that
Please welcome board member Lynn Mahoney.
I'm Lynn Mahoney, a member of the board of directors of Eleanor's Legacy. On behalf of myself and my fellow upstate directors, Susie Valentine, Tracy Brooks, Stacy Rowland, Pat Riley, Martha Robertson, Amy Solomon, Joanne Yepson, and Dorsey Appleears, running for re-election as Albany City Auditor, I'd like to thank you for joining us in celebration of Capital Region Women Leaders. In 2018, the Board of Directors initiated annual regional receptions where we could recognize and shine a light on local women who we believed were making a difference in their communities. Women who were demonstrating leadership and civic engagement on issues of importance to women and girls in New York State. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "When you have decided what you believe, what you feel must be done, have the courage to stand alone and be counted." Whether behind the scenes offering counsel or as advocates on the front lines, we salute these women who are not afraid to show up and speak out. Heidi Knoblauch is an alum of Emma Willard School, University of Rochester, Yale PhD graduate, and former faculty member at Bard College. If you go to her Facebook page, you will read, "I give you fair warning before you attempt me further. I am not what you supposed, but far different." I can't think of a more accurate description of Heidi. I first met Heidi in 2016 when she opened Plum Oyster Bar in downtown Troy, which quickly became one of the hottest spots in the capital region. Since her arrival, she's taken the area by storm. She was appointed chair of the Troy IDA, founded a startup company, HQ Receipts, an electronic repository where restaurant owners can retain paper receipts, and was hired by Pioneer Bank as the new venture and growth banking relationship manager. She is a mentor and role model for young upcoming entrepreneurs and can direct them and help them with the where and how to raise capital, something that we historically know has been more difficult for women. During the pandemic, she worked round the clock helping companies navigate the federal PPP and was an outspoken voice for the Black Lives Matter movement. She recently launched a chef in residence program at Plum with local Vietnamese bistro owner Quang Tran and chef Alexander Goldman. Another example of her belief in established businesses, creating opportunity and serving as incubators for new ventures. Heidi loves the saying, "There's nothing that will ever replace the time you think about things." Heidi is a critical thinker with a tremendous sense of curiosity. She has the innate intelligence that lets her evaluate the world around her. And when she identifies a problem or what she perceives to be an injustice, she sets out to develop a system that will help rectify it. I'm delighted to congratulate my friend Heidi Knoblauch on being a New York woman making a difference. Congratulations, Heidi.
Thank you to the entire board and especially to Lynn Mahoney for such kind words. A few years ago, Tracy Brooks began to invite me to events at her house where I was exposed to dozens of women running for office across New York State. These small, really intimate gatherings are where I first started to get hooked on Eleanor's Legacy. A few summers ago, many of Senator Gillibrand's staffers would come into Plum Oyster Bar, and on the days that I would be bartending, I would get the opportunity to talk with them and listen about their work on this campaign and other campaigns, and I truly found it fascinating. A few weeks after our last conversation, a copy of Run for Something showed up on Plum's doorstep. Eleanor's Legacy and the people who support and are supported by this organization have really touched my life. When I opened Plum Oyster Bar, I did not realize I was doing economic development. I knew that I wanted to start a company and that I wanted that company to employ some people and that I wanted to be in a physical space and be in a downtown, and I wanted there to be an impact on the downtown by increasing walkability. But I just truly didn't think that that was economic development. Economic development stories, at least in the news, are traditionally about big projects and multi-million-dollar negotiations between a local government and a private entity. But I really think that's changing and is going to continue to change in this post-COVID world. Entrepreneur-led economic development produces more sustainable results, typically because it produces companies that grow at a steady pace, commercialize innovative technologies, and are homegrown. Economic development has many parts, including placemaking, site planning, the creative economy, business retention and expansion, tourism, and entrepreneurism. And frankly, I often think the critical difference between having a good, holistic economic development strategy is when women are part of the conversation. IDA boardrooms and other economic development spaces do not have enough women representation. And it's my goal to bring women into conversations around growing local economy to create prosperity for all. I'm honored to be here today as a New York woman making a difference. If anyone ever wants to talk economic development, drop me a line. Thank you so much.
Please welcome the New York State Attorney General, Letitia James.
Good morning. It's great to be with the strong and powerful women of Eleanor's legacy. And I want to thank all of you for joining this celebration today. Eleanor's legacy has a long and a proud tradition of fostering a community of women who support women, of recruiting and training women to come into their own power and to advocate for their communities, and of smashing glass ceilings across the state of New York to increase the presence and influence of women in Congress, Albany, and in local public office. And we come together today to celebrate this work and to honor two women in the capital region who truly embody this spirit. I want to congratulate Anzala, Alozie, and Heidi Knoblauch, and thank them for their leadership in empowering and advancing women, both young and old, in their communities. From Anzala's focus on building strong foundations for our girls, to Heidi's work to ensure they have a lifetime of professional opportunities, these two women truly make a difference where it matters, and we're proud to recognize their work today. This commitment to supporting and uplifting the next generation of women leaders is critical to our future. And as all of you know, it's especially critical in the public sector and government. And it's because of groups like Eleanor's Legacy that I am where I am today. Eleanor's Legacy provides an unparalleled network of opportunity, access, and support. And resources are imperative for women when we run for office. And now more than ever, we need to continue encouraging women to support one another and actually run for office. We well know that when women are in office and have a seat at the table, it's when the real work gets done. So, to all of you who are currently running for office, whether it be at the local, county, state, or even federal level, I'm with you and I'm rooting for you. And to all of you who have ever considered the idea of running, but always convince yourself against it, we need more compassionate women leaders at every level of government. And I urge you to take the leap of faith. So, if you have the fire in your belly to make change, there is nothing that should stop you from seizing it. Step into your own, step out, and run. Thank you, and congratulations.
And now, a performance by Catherine Landeta.
If all of the kings had their queens on the throne, we would pop champagne at
A word from the leaders of tomorrow.
Electing pro-choice Democratic women in New York matters to me because it creates an opportunity for me to follow in their footsteps. That's important to me, and I want it.
I think it's important to elect pro-choice Democratic women in New York because when I grow up, I want it to be my body, my choice.
Electing pro-choice Democratic women in New York is important to me because we don't need someone in power who puts a limit on our already limited access to reproductive health care. Instead, we need someone who will make it a top priority.
Electing pro-choice Democratic women in New York matters to me because I'm 22 years old, I just graduated college, and as I'm beginning my career, having control of my own body and my own reproductive rights is vital to creating the future I envision for myself. With the makeup of the current Supreme Court, I'm terrified by decisions that they can make that will potentially impact my entire adult life. The women in other states such as Texas, Missouri, Mississippi are being threatened by the new state laws that strip away their health care rights. We need to make sure that never happens in New York. We need to make sure we elect pro-choice women who can protect me and others alike.
Why does electing pro-choice Democratic New York women matter to you? Drop a comment below. And now, a special message from the president of Eleanor's Legacy, Brett McSweeney.
Hello, friends. Thank you for joining us today. You know, any day I get to spend with Senator Gillibrand and Attorney General Tish James and the women of the Capital Region and you, I know it's going to be a good day. Thank you to the members of the host committee for joining us today and making today's event a success. And thank you to Anzala, Alozie and Heidi Knoblauch for allowing us to honor you. I've really enjoyed and been inspired as I've learned about the full scope of the impact you are making in the lives of the women and girls of the Capital Region. So thank you. You know, it's the mission of Eleanor's Legacy to recruit, train, and elect pro-choice Democratic women to state and local office all across New York State. And every day, our mission is more vital than ever. Thanks to the history-making, change-making leadership of State Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins and Assembly Majority Leader Crystal Peoples-Stokes, the first two Black women to hold those roles, and in partnership, of course, with their colleagues in the Senate and in the Assembly, our state legislature, your state legislature, has become the most productive, the most progressive ever in our state's history. But it's not just at the state level. At the local level, pro-choice Democratic women continue to lead our communities through the response and the recovery to the pandemic and to everything that the future will hold for the 10 million women and girls across New York State. And really, that's the future that I'm thinking about today, and that's on my mind. Because as we recruit, train, and elect pro-choice Democratic women to office today, our sisters, our daughters, our nieces, our granddaughters are watching, and they are the leaders of tomorrow. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, tomorrow is now. And so together, we at Eleanor's Legacy and in the larger Eleanor's Legacy community across the state make it a priority to lift as we climb, to hold open those doors that so many generations of women fought so hard to kick open, and to keep them open for that next generation of New York women leaders that is on the rise. I hope you are well. I hope you stay well. I hope you're ready to work with us over these next 5 months or so to this most important local election year, election day, and that you continue to work with us as we build that next generation of pro-choice Democratic women leaders all across the state at every level. Thank you so much, and be well.
Please welcome board member M. Tracy Brooks.
Good morning. My name is Tracy Brooks, and I'm one of the board members for the Eleanor Roosevelt Legacy, an organization that's very near and dear to my heart, as I was in one of the first classes that the Legacy supported running for office. Eleanor Roosevelt says that we must do the things that we think that we cannot. And this morning, I have the opportunity to introduce you to a woman who doesn't have the words cannot in her vocabulary, Anzala Alozie. Anzala and I are friends dating back to when we went to law school, fighting for women back then, and Anzala hasn't stopped since. Her career is sprinkled with a litany of organizations and issues that we all want to be a part of. She has fought for survivors and victims of domestic violence. She's been on the front lines for the immigration movement. Socioeconomic and racial inequality are a large part of what she fights for, ensuring that we have affordable and safe childcare and women's reproductive health care, all make the background of what Anzala has done in her professional career. But we aren't what we do. We aren't only what we do, but what Anzala does permeates every part of who she is. Anzala has used her voice to raise the voices of those who cannot be heard. Although she grew up in Westchester County, she went to Washington, D.C. after she went to law school, Anzala picked the Capital Region to have and to raise her children. She's a dynamic woman who's raising 4 outstanding and phenomenal people. They're curious and they're engaged. They're thoughtful and well-rounded. With her children, Anzala has been able to be involved in other community issues like youth athletics, both soccer and football. She's coached girls basketball. She is engaged in drama and music and dance and runs Toastmasters. She's built a family of friends here in the Capital Region, and Anzala is a member of the Delta Sigma Thetas, and she is part of a local moms group. Community engagement and building our careers is important. It gives us meaning in what we're doing, but it's those who live that community in all aspects of their life, who include their children and model this community, that are truly growing our communities for tomorrow. Anzala exemplifies leadership, but if you asked her about any of this, I'm sure that she would tell you it all comes very naturally and none of it is premeditated. She cares. She is engaged. She uses her strengths to benefit as many as she can. If there were a quote of Eleanor Roosevelt's that I could imagine coming out of Anzala, I believe it would be that the purpose of life is to live it, to love it, to taste experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly, without fear of ever-enriching experiences. Anzala lives her life this way. She raises her children this way, and she enriches our community in this way. Thank you for joining Eleanor Roosevelt in recognizing the leadership of Anzala Alozie. And it is now my distinct honor to introduce Anzala.
Good morning. My name is Anzala Alozie, and I'm so happy to be here in this space with each of you today. Tracy, thank you so much for that generous introduction. It's hard to believe that so much time has passed since our days at Albany Law, co-leading the Women's Law Caucus. And it's truly endearing that over the course of our careers, we've remained connected and dedicated to advancing the experiences and needs of women. I am honored and humbled by this recognition. Thank you, Eleanor's Legacy, for seeing me, for seeing the work I do, and for seeing all of the work that women do to lead across this region. I am so passionate about amplifying the voices and needs of women and the youth, and now so even more dedicated and committed to creating intentional and sustainable solutions to the challenges we face. This is the legacy of so many pioneering women, from Eleanor Roosevelt to the Honorable Senator Andrea Stewart Cousins, women who are catalysts for change. So as we emerge from a deeply challenging year on several fronts, from the global health pandemic that we are slowly recovering from, to political unrest, while witnessing the devastating effects of social inequity and moving through an ongoing national reckoning with racism, it is my hope that we reimagine all of the ways to move forward differently, moving forward differently, with a deep understanding of all that we've learned over the past 18 months. That we move forward with more intentionality and focused purpose on healing and transforming our communities and individual selves. And this is why it is critically important to continue to support women's leadership and elect even more humanity-conscious women to office. It is the right thing to do and is the right way forward, because we know that women affect swift and impactful change for all because of their close proximity to the needs of the most vulnerable. Women are solution seekers and brokers of peace. Women are consistent agents for human rights, as envisioned by Eleanor when she authored the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights in 1948. And while women's work has long been under-recognized, the fruit of our labor is greatly experienced by all who occupy those spaces. So this is a call to action. It is a call to action for all of us to ensure that inclusion is not an on-trend word, but a continuous act that is firmly embedded into the fabric of every environment, every solution, every policy, and most importantly, our collective cultures. Women's leadership and women in office is key to making this a permanent, positive reality. So I'll leave us with one of my favorite quotes by Eleanor Roosevelt, which is, "We do not have to become heroes overnight. Just a step at a time, meeting each thing that comes up, seeing it not as dreadful as it appears, discovering that we have the strength to stare it down." And I'll conclude with my mother, Ann Hayes Wilson's motto of, "Your work is your signature." So again, thank you, Eleanor's Legacy, for the important work you do. And thank you so much for recognizing me for doing the work that simply needs to be done because there is great need. Thank you.
Please welcome back Lisa Ramey.
Here come all that up, he come, grooving up slowly, he got juju eyeball, he won, holy roller, he got head down to his knee, got to be a joker, he just do what he please, yeah, oh yeah. He wear no shoe shine, he got toe jam football, he got monkey fingers, he shoot Coca-Cola, he say, I know you, you know me, one thing I can tell you is you gotta be free, come together, right out over me. He bad production, he got walrus gumbo, he got iron on cyborg, he won spinal cracker, he got feet down below his knees, hold you in his arms, yeah, you can feel his disease, come together, right now, over me. He roller coaster, he got early water, he got muddy water, he won mojo filter, he said, what is free? Got to be good looking cause you're so hard to see, come together, right now. Come together, right now, over me.
We'd like to thank the special guest who shared space with us today. as well as the members of our host committee. And thank you for celebrating Capital Region women leaders with us today. Join our community at Eleanor'sLegacy.com.